welcome to the Next in Line podcast, where we are helping to prepare you for whatever is next in line. As always, I'm your host, Chance Pitts, and I would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. Guys, so as always, if you are getting value out of this episode, or you think anybody else you know could also receive value out of this episode, or for that matter, anything else that we're putting out daily on social media, make sure that you're sharing this podcast and sharing this movement with like-minded individuals in order to help us grow and move in the right direction. And guys, you can find us putting out that daily content I mentioned on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. That's at Next in Line Development. Guys, so just a little update on me. I am working through day 70 of 75 Hard. The only thing I've got left as of now is a 10-page read of personal development. I'm still reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And today, as one of my workouts, I actually got a fantastic opportunity to go work with my mentor and friend back in Houston, who has been hugely inspirational to my development process, both professionally and personally. And it was awesome to go get a workout in with him that we've planned out for a long time. I was able to see a little bit into the company he's starting and also get to see his home gym and meet a friend of his that he's been telling me about for a while. We're looking at running a 50K later in the year together. And guys, with that, I can't express the importance of getting somebody in your life that you look up to and that you respect and that will push you and compete with you and help you progress in a positive direction enough. It is a huge and important aspect. And along those lines as well, we met with some great friends. We actually stayed with some fantastic friends in the Houston area as well, who were not the same people that I went and worked out with. They're not the same gentlemen that I went and worked out with. However, they were some fantastic people who are also looking to move in a positive direction the same way we are. We talked about the future and investments and bettering ourselves, and we all worked out together. It was actually a fantastic experience, and I highly, highly encourage you to make sure, like we've said, you are surrounding yourself with individuals who have the same goals and intentions as you do. Guys, so to get into the topic for today, I think that I saw something over the weekend that was probably the best demonstration of how powerful the human mind is that I've seen in a very long time. And like I said, I'm trying to step up my game on social media, and part of that was launching a Next in Line Development TikTok account. Now, I know there's probably some people rolling their eyes or getting annoyed with that, but it is the nature of the beast. I'm trying to get out there and grow the movement. I actually got a little bit of content out there, so make sure you're checking us out at Next in Line Development on TikTok as well. But I also use TikTok as a platform to watch motivational videos and leadership content as well, along with fitness and some other things. I've actually gotten some great value out of that platform, so I thought I would try to add to it as well. And one of the things, as I was looking at some of these leadership contents and motivational contents, I saw was this kid who decided to do something that I think is absolutely fantastic, and it's a feat that I think is a prime example of just how powerful the human mind actually is. And that was this kid who took his Apple Watch and decided to measure how long it is if he ran a circle in his room. And then he did some quick math and realized that if he runs 3,000 circles in his room, then he runs the distance of 26.5 miles, which is just over the length of a marathon, a full-length marathon, at 26.2. So he kind of hypes himself up and realizes, man, there's no way I can't run 3,000 circles in my room. It's nothing. It's something that's going to be easy. And then he does exactly that. He actually live streamed it. It took him 7 hours to complete that marathon distance. He ate half a bagel with some cream cheese on it and some bananas as his nutrition. He had some fluids as well, I'm sure, but it's just insane what he was able to pull off with a small amount of nutrition. And for anybody that doesn't know anything about marathons, nutrition is one of the hardest aspects to master for a marathon, because you could eat something at that distance, you could throw yourself off, you could upset your digestive tract and put yourself in a very bad place to not be able to complete a race. Also, you've got to think, running that amount of distance, you're burning like in his case, 3,000 calories. So you've got to replace that calories, and you got to keep your body fueled in a positive way so that you can get your muscles to continue working long term. So guys, the nutrition and hydration game is probably the most important aspect besides mental toughness. Now, these are all things that professional runners and amateur runners all struggle with in this process, but the mental toughness is the biggest factor because you've got to push through pain, boredom, hunger, self-doubt, and a number of other things that you can only really describe or experience if you ran a marathon. So why was some kid able to run a marathon distance in 7 hours with no training and absolute minimal nutrition, guys? That is my $1 million question right now. And I think the answer lies in the way that he approached the challenge. So guys, sure, there were some different factors that came into play, such as climate-controlled environment, the lack of elevation, whereas you see a little bit of elevation change, and maybe some heat and humidity and that kind of thing from running a normal marathon. But even with those things considered, the fact is this kid ran 26.5 miles, and that's not something that most people achieve in their lives. But you got to think about the mindset of this young kid going into this situation. Instead of having the idea that most people see as, how am I going to do this? He came to the table with the question of, how would I not be able to achieve something like this? It's just 3,000 loops in my room running around in a circle. Do you see the difference in mindset and the difference that it made whenever he started this event? He broke it down into bite-sized pieces, and he took everything one step at a time. We always talk about and we hear expressions like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you climb a mountain? How do you climb Mount Everest? One step at a time. And guys, he did exactly that. From the absolute start, he decided that this was something that was achievable and he was going to be able to do. And then he went out and did it. And that's really all there was to it, guys. It's amazing the statistics that surround people that run a marathon. Did you know that about 0.5% is how many people? So not even 1% of the world's population, 0.5% of the world's population actually completes a marathon. And just by approaching this goal with the proper mentality, this kid with no training was able to do something that 1 in every 200 people have ever actually done and don't know if they could do. Now, with that percentage in mind, that's 0.05%. With that percentage in mind, and that opportunity for that kid to be able to complete what he did, why do you think that anything in your life is unattainable or unachievable? Did you know that 50% of marriages are a success? If you're struggling in your marriage right now, if you're struggling in your relationship, whatever it is, 50% of marriages are successful. Compare that to his percentage. Did you know 37.5% of the population in the U.S. graduates college? If you're struggling with school or you're going through what everybody knows as kind of the undergrad blues, struggling with some of the things going on, debating whether you want to finish or, for that matter, even start, take that into consideration. A kid ran a marathon in his room, 0.5% of a chance of finishing this thing, and he did it. Yet there's a 37.5% chance to graduate college. Did you know 23% of Americans are debt-free? If you're struggling financially, compare that number to the feat that he just pulled off. Did you know 10% of households in America have a net worth of over $1 million? If you have aspirations to be fantastically successful financially, it is attainable, guys. That's 10% of the population of America. Guys, also, lastly, and one of the hardest ones, 5% of diets actually succeed in America. Now, that's still more likely. That's 10 times more likely than anybody ever running a marathon, and this kid being able to pull off what he pulled off. Guys, you need to take a look, and you need to see that if some kid on TikTok can summon the mental fortitude and the correct mindset to be able to do something like this with only 0.5% chance of doing so, there is absolutely nothing stopping you from doing the things that you want to do. All it takes is a change of mindset. It just takes a flip of the switch, guys. A difference in the way that you approach all of these challenges in your life. Imagine if you started looking at all these obligations in your life as opportunities to succeed, or all these failures that you've experienced as opportunities to learn, or the obstacles in your life in front of you as tests that you can pass and that you can use to compound your success upon. Guys, how about this one? Imagine if you decided that quitting or making excuses was no longer an option. The only thing you can do is go through with what you said you were going to go through with and work every single day and complete what you say you're going to complete. What could you accomplish if you adapted and adopted that mindset? If you make your mind realize that the opportunities in front of you and the positivity that you have in your situations are something that you can manifest within yourself, then you will change the entire course of your life. Do you know how many people would truly kill to be in the positions that we find ourselves in, guys? We complain about our cars that are old or crappy, or they're not what we want them to be. We want the sports car or this or that. But do you know how many people would kill to be able to take that car to and from work? We complain about our jobs making us work late. But do you know how many people would kill to even have a way to earn an income, let alone have an opportunity to earn overtime? Guys, we've got so many things to be thankful for and positive about, yet we just find ourselves in a society that complains about all of the things that we receive an opportunity to do. We do realize that there are things and places in this world that require you to actually put in work. You have to hunt every day and gather your dinner every single day in some places in this world. We realize there's places with no modern technology like cars, cell phones, advanced farming methods, or even medicine. How blessed are we to be where we are and doing what we are able to do? We need to change our perspective and start to live a life with gratitude and positivity. I'm not saying a life of complacency and being happy with where you are in life, but being in a place of gratitude and positivity for the things that you do have. I mentioned James Clear and the book Atomic Habits earlier. Well, in that book, he discusses moving your mindset from the I got to mentality to the I get to mentality. And just think about that, and think about the past couple of years that we all experienced as a country. Think about the things that we have been dying to do and the things we've been having to do without. Not seeing family members, not being able to go places we want to go, not being able to experience these things that we want to experience. Don't you wish you would have taken advantage of some of these opportunities and the freedom that you had? Maybe been a little bit more grateful and positive in the moment whenever you had these opportunities? And guys, it's kind of funny we're talking about this topic. I had the opportunity to mention this and speak on this a little bit with my cousin and best friend the other day. He is actually working through a job change right now. He's put in his 2 weeks at the company that he was at, and one morning he called me and he had very little motivation and very little drive to push through the day. He's currently going from a job on a farm where he's a mechanic. He's in the shop, but he's out in the open in the elements a whole lot as well. And he's changing oil, he's changing tires, he's fixing machinery, and working on trucks, haul trucks, whatever you've got, all day. And like I said, he's not in a climate-controlled situation. And he's moving to a job that's in a climate-controlled situation with a fantastic schedule, a fantastic pay increase, and a much more positive environment for his work-life balance and some of the things he wants to achieve. So when his boss piled him with work, he, much like everybody else, and much like I probably would have been as well, tried to find some motivation, but struggled a bit to get through these tough and crappy work situations that he found himself in. So he reached out to me and he asked for some advice. And guys, I reminded him of the opportunity that he has in front of him. The opportunity to save up a little bit more money while he's getting to work these next couple of weeks. The opportunity to work with his hands instead of being stuck in an office all day like he's about to be in his new job. And the opportunity to work on a ranch with a relaxed environment compared to the situation he's going to be in that is a little bit more strict. And as I pointed out some of these different things to him, and I showed him the different perspective to look at his problem with, he came out with a new mindset. He was able to change his mindset and get through his day on a more positive note. And like I've said, guys, you've got to use the new mindset. Change your way of looking at things. Use the positivity and the gratitude to become the best version of yourself that you can become. Get wealthy, get more intelligent, get mentally stronger, get physically stronger, and don't waste the golden opportunities that you find in front of you. Guys, like I said, make sure you're living a life of positivity and gratification. Make sure you are showing gratitude towards all the great things that you have in life. Whatever you believe in, whatever you do spiritually to make yourself get out of bed every single day, know that when you do good things and when you're thankful for the good things in your life, they manifest themselves and they help you move in a positive direction. And guys, well, the way I'm going to close this out is with a quote from Henry Ford. And it's just like the kid that ran the marathon said. But Henry Ford says, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." So go prove yourself right, guys. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Next in Line podcast. Like I said, make sure you're sharing this podcast with like-minded people, sharing social media with like-minded people. Let's help spread the message. Guys, check us out at Next in Line Development. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you leave us a rating, and always be prepared for whatever is next in line.